what is sin?
I believe sin is anything that morally you believe you should not be doing, but choose to do anyways. And it's anything that goes against what you know God would want you to do.
Alright, so what is sin?
What I believe sin is not following the 10 Commandments and just basically doing something that's not consciously right. If you feel your conscience is telling you it's a bad thing, it's probably a sin and not the right thing to do. And really going off the conscience is what I feel is my way of sticking to what God's plan is.
So what's the outcome from sin then, if you do sin?
Well, the outcome, there's many different outcomes. I mean, guilt is obviously going to be one of them, and then from sinning you bring conflict not only with yourself but with others. It could bring judgment upon yourself as well as others. I don't know, sin brings, I guess, all of the bad things in life.
Okay, alright. So are positive things following you when you sin, or kind of negative?
I believe more negatively, that things aren't going to come to you, and it's kind of I think it's just bad all around. If you really sin, it just shouldn't be done, I guess.
I guess the best way to avoid sin is to avoid those that you see sinning the most, like the people that you know you should be avoiding, and to pick some type of inspiration, someone you look up to that has lived like a good life and a clean life, and someone that truly is a good person, and go from there. I mean, have someone to go off of, I think would be a good way to avoid sin.
What do you do to avoid sinning?
Like I said earlier, just, stick with your conscience. If you should know. I guess at a younger age it's hard to tell, but just try to follow the rules and the morals, and the Bible kind of sets out like Jesus' path and what he did, and just kind of go along that way.
Our relationship with God is kind of like a friendship, where if we sin against God or we sin, do you think that could have some negative effects on the relationship?
Yeah, I do believe if they are severe enough, I completely believe that. If you don't look at yourself and see that you are sinning the way that you are, it's going to cause a disconnection between the two, and sometimes that can't be won back.
So how does sin affect your relationship to God?
It definitely hurts it, because he can be disappointed in you, he's hurt by it, and depending on how severe the sin is, you can go to hell for it. So.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Is there sin that you can do that doesn't separate you from God?
No, like all sins definitely separate you from God, but that's the thing, like everybody sins, like we're all humans, everybody sins like all the time. So like for me, being Catholic and stuff, that's the importance of going to confession, is to get clean, to cleanse yourself so you can reconnect that connection with God.
Now, if you do sin, how do you make things right?
Well, I'm Catholic, so we have confession, and that, which I feel kind of lifts your sins from you, and that's usually what helps me out.
Okay, why do you think confession lifts your sins from you?
You're just connecting with God, and just my belief on that, and it does. You just get everything out. You don't hold anything back, and you're not afraid to tell anything.
So whenever you sin, you go to confession, or?
No, not that much. Just every couple of years, once every couple of years, and.
So what do you do in the meantime between confession and between sinning and confession? If you do a couple of years in between.
Well, I try to get forgiveness. Like, say if I sin towards someone, I try to ask for forgiveness from the person who I've sinned to. Like, either cause hurt or emotionally or physically, and just try to be forgiven, and hopefully everything's all right with that.
If you do sin, how do you make things right?
Obviously, I would say like talking to God, like prayer and confession to God, like I think that's like a great way to atone for that. Talking to the people that it affected, trying to come to an understanding, that is obviously a good way to do that. Also, taking a step back and looking at yourself, what you could have done differently to change it in the future. I mean, there isn't much you could do about it now because it's already done, but to take a step back and then judge yourself on how you could have done it differently and what could have become, had a better outcome from it.
Okay. So kind of learn from your
Learn from mistakes, basically.
I had another question. I'm sorry.
Our prize, drawn to redemption by the grace in his eyes. If grace is an ocean, we're all sinking. So when heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss, and my heart turns violently inside of my chest. No, I don't